You know something about this that I don't? When Frank Sinatra came to Kelty Club. Kelty Club was really short of money. So the secretary says, we really need to get a big name to make some money for the club. So the treasurer says, well, what kind of boy would we get? The secretary says, we need a big draw. Somebody like Frank Sinatra. And the chairman says, eh? How can we afford him? So the secretary says, well, we can get 500 people in here, and if we charge a tenner a ticket, that's 5,000 quid. So with a raffle in that, we can afford them, no bother. Wait a minute, says the secretary. Frank Sinatra's got to need a whole band. He's got fiddles, keyboards, there's about 25 folk in Frank Sinatra's band. Never be able to afford all that. Treasurer says, oh, don't worry. Tam and Willie that play for the Saturday nighttings, they ken all Frank Sinatra's songs. They can back up, no bother. Tam on the drums and Willie on the keyboards, ken. Okay, says the treasurer. I'll get a chance. We'll write to Frank Sinatra and see what he says. So they wrote a letter to Frank Sinatra, put a first-class stamp on it, so we'd get there quicker. Dear Mr. Sinatra, we are running a benefit night in Kelty Club. Let's face it, every night's a benefit night. We would be delighted if you could come and do a turn on the 24th of April or whatever. Well, they waited a fortnight, nothing happened. But about 3 weeks later, they got a reply which said, Dear Mr. Secretary, I was very much excited to get the letter for Kelty Club. I am doing Acapulco on the Monday and Las Vegas on the Tuesday, but I could come and do Kelty on the Wednesday, if that's all right. So they were a wee bit surprised at this, as usually they only had turns on a weekend. Nevertheless, it was decided that they would have Frank. On the great day duly arrived. The club was served out. The bairns got a day off the school to celebrate. So we welcomed the great man to Kelty, as this was a great tradition established a long time ago by Harry Lauder, but not Buffalo Bill. I will tell you about that later. The treasurer picked up Frank for Inverkeithing at the station on the back of his motorbike, took him up to the club. They had a wee rehearsal with Tam and Willie, and sure enough, the boys knew all Frank's songs off pat. So they all adjourned to dinner about 6 o'clock. Frank had a fish supper, and Tam and Willie had steak pie suppers, because this was the first time they'd been on expenses. Well, at night, the club was absolutely heaving. And as they were waiting in the queue for the bar, Tam says to Frank, Frank, I've got a new girlfriend. Try to impress her. I wonder if he'd come up and say hello when I'm sitting to him. No bother, says Frank. Sit. Frank wanders up and goes, hello, Tam, how's it going? Tam looks up at him and says, Christ, Frank, can you not see him with a bird? Go on YouTube, there's a clip of the Johnny Carson show where Frank Sinatra actually tells that story against himself. Anyway, the gig was an absolute triumph. They did all Frank's hits. Chicago, Nancy with a laughing coupon, High Hopes with a wee ant and all that stuff. Oh! The audience was eating the curtains. They were absolute magic from start to finish. Comes the last number. Frank starts off. And now, the end is near. There's an almighty crash from the back of the stage. Wally storms off through the crowd with a keyboard under his arm. Right, Mr. Chairman, he says. But I've dealt you once, I've dealt you 100 times. If one mere bastard sings my way in this club, I'm finished. He threw the keyboard through the window. The night ended in turmoil. And that's the story of how Frank Sinatra came to Celtic Club. And it's true as I'm standing here. Yeah!